Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Real Estate Investing with Alex-Deacon. My name is Adam, your quasi...
And my name is Alex-Deacon.
Say the quasi-side host. There's the real star of the show, Alex-Deacon, the Deacon of Real Estate. And when the Deacon speaks, you listen. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to turn it over to the man, the myth, the legend himself, the Deacon, Alex-Deacon. What's up, my man?
I'm just emailing my assistant right now.
Nice. We got, see, that's like, we like to break the fourth wall here, people. It's nice to know that we're just like everybody else. Those of you that have seen me know that I'm absolutely just your average person. I am nothing special. No. But listen, what we're going to be talking about today, guys, while Alex is typing up an email, we are going to talk about the magic of appreciation. And I don't mean appreciation like how we all appreciate Alex-Deacon here. We're going to talk about appreciation value on houses and on properties.
Yeah, I'm just you're going to have to continue talking while I finish my email.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do some what's called cheap plugs. And ladies and gentlemen, during the cheap plug segment, what I'd like to do is first let you know that you can find us on the web at dhrea.com. Find us on Facebook at Deacon Hoover. Find us on Twitter at Deacon Hoover. YouTube, just search Deacon Hoover and you'll find some great videos from past meetups. Our podcasts are everywhere. Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Last.fm, I believe, also has us on there. So just search Alex-Deacon or Deacon Hoover plug it into your internet favorite sites. There's a bunch of blogs on our websites too. I do some writing, ladies and gentlemen. So I put a really cool article out about Neil Peart from Rush, little Pittsburgh facts here and there. So check out our website, ladies and gentlemen. And we got all of our properties are listed there too. So. Now, I believe
you did a wonderful job.
I plugged enough to hand it over to the main man.
What are we talking about today, anyway?
Appreciation. How much I appreciate you.
How much you? This is going to be a short one, isn't it? Thank you, folks. That's it for today. Appreciation, because we just talked about the. We were talking about the market crash and
yes, potentially.
Previous one.
Yep.
Yeah, and. Wanted to talk to you about appreciation and the magic of it. Like they say, there's the magic of compound interest, because compound interest is magical. Because remember we talked about, or maybe you don't. We if you double a penny every day for after 30 days. Do you remember how much it was?
It was unreal. It was like in six figures or something like that. It was unbelievable.
Oh no, it's 8 figures, I think.
Yeah, actually, let's look this up because this is something, guys, that if you take and it's the situation where you take a penny and just double it every day.
Double a penny every day for a month. What would that end up being? A lot of freaking money, bro.
One heavy couch.
It would be 5 quadrillion. No, it's 5,306. Oh, wait a second. That's what happens to a penny over 30 days. Day 30, yeah, it's 5,368,000.
That's incredible.
Isn't that insane? So day 1 it's 1 cent, day 2 it's 2 cents, day 3 it's 4 cents. You're thinking, wow, what is it? Then you hit like day 24, it's 83,000. Day 25, 167. Day 26, 335,000. So that's what I look at that, and I look at real estate the same way. And I've been doing this for such a long time that it's just, for me, I did it all the wrong way in the beginning, and I made all the mistakes, and I still make mistakes now. I see other people doing it way more efficiently than me, but what's neat about where I am in my career is I can see the difference. I can see someone who's way better than me at what I do, and it's kind of cool, and I see people making the same mistakes that I've made, and I try to tell them, but some people were like me, hard-headed. I know what the F I'm doing. Just get out of my way. I'll make it work through determination and hard work, and that's just not enough.
It's like you're the grizzled old vet that people bring in to win a Stanley Cup, It's like you got all the knowledge.
Yeah, that's true. And, my back hurts. I have a cane, but I have some knowledge up there. But when I look at that, I look at my portfolio and some of the properties I bought that I paid way too much money. Well, not way too much, but I paid too much. I put too much money into them. They lost money. They now, 15 years later, they're actually worth a considerable amount of money, it's nice. So on a balance sheet, I look pretty cool, Even if that property is not making me any money, cash flow wise, when I sell it, it's just going to be incredibly valuable. So what let's see, what did we do right before we started? we opened up an appreciation and depreciation calculator, which this kind of opened up my eyes when I
This
pulled
is incredible. I like
so
this.
if we bought a house today for $120,000, an average appreciation's 3 to 5%. So let's use 4% then. In 5 years, only 5 years, it's going to be worth $146,000. Right? $146,000. So I have an amortization schedule on here somewhere. Let's pull that up. So let's say so what I like to do is like to buy houses with zero money down. How do I do that? You listen to the other podcasts and I'll share with you. But just to briefly, here's how I do it. And there's multiple different ways. This is just one way. I might have my own cash, or I might have a line of credit, and I just pay cash for it, and I fund all the rehab, and then I refinance it. So, and then I refinance that house. I paid $100 for it. I put $20 into it. It's called forced appreciation. So that $20,000 I put into it with all the improvement forced that property now to be worth $160,000. Okay? So now I go refinance that property, and I get 80% of that $160,000. So 80%, even let's use 75%. So $160,000 it's going to appraise for. The bank's going to lend me 75% of that. They're going to lend me $120,000. What do you know? I got all my money back.
Jeez.
Yeah, that worked out. I got all my money back. So I bought it with zero money down. I used a line of credit. I usually don't use my own money, but sometimes I will. It depends how much capital I have. But I use a line of credit, or I'll go to a private money lender and at high interest rates between 8 and 15%. I'll borrow the money from them for 6 months to a year, rehab it, get it rented, refinance, get all my money back. I use none of my money. Okay, so we're going to base what we're going to do off of that. So the $120,000 is what I borrowed from the hard money lender, and I did all the rehab, and then I went and got a conventional loan. So I went to a bank and got a loan amortized over 20 years. So we're going to put that in there at 5.5%. Rates are going up a little bit. 20 years, $120,000. So my payment would be $825. My beginning balance is what? What's the beginning balance? You want $120,000.
The 120, yeah, the 120. Okay, so yeah, you're $120,000. I gotta wait. This is why, just so everyone listening knows why I went on a total mind blank.
You hate math?
No, the Deacon. No, I'm great at math. But the Deacon over here looks like Batman with two screens up. There's all these graphs. There's like all these numbers floating around, and it's like there is a lot going on. That's why this is impressive.
I am technically challenged.
This is impressive. It was just. I was kind of just taking it all in. That's why I totally blanked, because all of a sudden there's just numbers and scales and everything. And it was like, whoa.
Now our listeners are going to think I'm sort of a computer genius, and I can barely get onto the internet without problem. Okay, so after we're talking about 5 years. So at 4% appreciation, the house is going to be worth, the investment, the house, the duplex, whatever it is going to be worth $145,998, or I rounded up to $146,000. Okay, so it's gone up $26,000 in 5 years. And after 5 years of making payments to the bank, your balance will be $101,000. Okay, so I borrowed this money, zero money down. Rented the property out, and even if the property's breaking even, I'm not making any cash flow, right? I'm renting it for $1,100, and my payment is $1,100, including taxes, vacancy, repairs. Mm-hmm. My wealth has grown from zero, because I had zero into it, to what's the difference between $146,000 and $100,000? $46,000. Yep. So in 5 years, my personal wealth has grown by $46,000. Okay. It's very simple. Yep. And do that 6, 7, 8. Let's do that 20 times over the next 10 years. 20 times over the next 10 years. It's significant. So let's look at, let's even go further and let's look at a 10-year period. Okay, that same house. We're going to go 10 years. That house is now worth $177,600. And 10 years from now, what are we going to owe the bank? That would be 2 on that. We're going to owe the bank $70,000. So now our wealth is increased to $100,000. So we went from $46,000 or $45,000 to it's almost $101,000. Our personal wealth has grown. Now remember, this is all delayed gratification for me. I'm not making any money on these. Now the icing on the cake is if you are making money. So let's say you're cash flowing a few $100s a month, and you're getting to write off what's allowed by the income tax, the federal income tax code, and your state income tax and stuff. You're able to write off some things. So there's money there that I'm not accounting for either. Okay. So even at a break even, I'm not like super happy over it, but that's a lot of my properties. But they're in good areas. If I'm breaking even in like a Section 8 house that we talked about, that's not good because those may not be appreciating as good, and they're usually lower price wise. They're $50,000 and they're a lot of work, and to break even with all that headache and stress and all that work you put into it is just not worth it. On a good quality property that you're breaking even, but your wealth is growing like this, then that's still not bad. Right.
It's just more of a long game than versus a instant gratification.
Absolutely,
like you said,
yeah. So let's do a 15-year. So 15 years, the house was worth of $120 when we started, and it's now worth $216,000.
Wow.
And
see, these are long game numbers that not enough people see because I'm glad you mentioned instant gratification.
Well, you have to look at these.
Too many people see the instant gratification versus that one.
I see a lot of husband and wife, partners like that. Sometimes it's the husband who's the risk taker, sometimes it's the wife, but one or the other doesn't see the long term. They just see, well, how's that going to help me get a nicer car next year? It's not, honey, but it's going to help you get a really nice car in 10 years. That I see that a lot. Even with just partners, not even husband and wife. They could just be two women partners, two guys that are just friends and partnered up. They have different visions of how this should work. So after 15 years, you owe the bank $43,000, and the property is worth $216,000. So that's 167, 170. That's 180,000. So the first 5 years was 46,000. The second 5 years was 101,000. So it was it was a $60,000 difference. And after 5 more years, 15 years, it's 180,000. So you see how the magic of compound kind of it's going down. As far as every month you're making more of a payment towards the principal when you make your payment to the bank. And depreciation is going up. Here's the other thing you don't see, and it's not in this chart, as we're not talking about, again, is the tax benefits. And what else is going up every year?
Price of everything, it seems like.
Absolutely. Price of repairs, the price if you're paying maybe it's a duplex and you're paying the water and sewage, that's going up. But what else is going up? The rent. So the rent's going up. So at some point every year, your rent is going up. Let's just use a 1% or 2%. So let's do that. Let's say the rent was 2018. The rent was $1,000 a month, and it's going up 2%. After 15 years, the rent is $1,345.
Okay.
So that's what we're not seeing that extra $345 a month that you're bringing in 15 years.
Gotcha.
So
and then everything incrementally along the way that you're also bringing in too, because those rates would slowly increase all along.
Mm-hmm. So it's a beautiful thing. And then after 20 years, which is when the loan would be paid off. Some people don't like to think this far down the road, but it depends when you start in your career. If you start when you're 70, you're probably working on maybe
the windows
2 or 3 year plan. Now I'm 51. I still would work on a 20-year plan. I hope to be around when I'm 70 or 90. But
I would like to be.
But anyway, it's just for shits and giggles for $20,000. For $120,000, I got to put that back in here. And we talked about 4%. Your property is worth $262,000, and your balance is zero. Right? Your balance is just paid off. So in 20 years, that one house with zero money down that you bought it with is worth over $250,000.
Holy cow!
So if you just did, the average husband and wife, if they just want to go ahead and buy 5 properties, if it's done correctly, and they're 30 years old when they start, so by the time they're 50 to 55, because maybe they buy one a year, they buy 5 properties, they're 55, they have $1.4 million worth of real estate, plus their own home.
Right.
Their own home at that point is probably paid off. Then what else are we missing here? What else do they have now that all the loans are paid off?
Oh, they have a zero balance sheet where they don't got to worry about anything.
They have income now.
Yeah.
Right? So let's just say, remember we talked about that $1,000 rent is $1,300. $1,300 times 5 houses is like $6,500 a month. They didn't have before.
Wow.
So not only are they worth $1.3 million, they also have $6,000 plus a year, a month coming in. That's how this can work. It doesn't. You don't have to buy a lot of properties to make this fundamentally sound to set up your retirement.
That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. I wish I would have seen these things 10 years ago, 15, 5 years ago, for that matter. This is incredible.
So to conceptualize this is easy, right? How long did it take us to open your eyes up?
Right.
But there's so much more that goes into finding that property and managing it and knowing. There's just a lot, but that's the danger of real estate, and that's the beauty of real estate. The danger is so easy to comprehend.
Yeah,
because I'm stupid as hell, and
I would debate that.
I comprehend this. I get it. So I was like, when I was 27 when I started, I'm like, dang, that is cool. I get it. Why doesn't everybody do this? I can do this. I'm going to just go out and buy houses, and that's what I did. And I failed miserably and struggled and. But if you do it right,
from your mistakes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's the valuable lesson.
Did it the hard way. I went to school of HU, it's Hard Knocks University, HNU.
Yep.
HKU. I told you I was dumbass. I told you. You say, "Oh no, you're smart, Alex." No, I am a dumbass. What can I say?
Cue. That was timing 101. Right there.
Perfect. So, that's the beauty and the danger of real estate. It's so easy to conceptualize. It's so easy to borrow money. In comparison to like small businesses and stuff like that, I think it's harder because when you go to borrow money on real estate, the bank has an asset there that they can foreclose on. So it's much less risky for them than if you were borrowing on opening up a restaurant or a club.
Gotcha.
Maybe you're leasing the property. And what are they going to do? Foreclose and take your bar equipment and your bar stools? I mean, you probably sold, anyway before they got their hands on it.
Take all the neons,
there's a lot more risk. So entering into this business is fairly simple, easy to understand, easy to borrow money, but it also is very easy to screw up.
Right.
But I love looking at the beauty of appreciation, and when you compound it with paying off your debt, and I look at my balance sheet and I say, oh, okay, so I'm doing all this work, and it is paying off, I don't see it. I don't drive that, I drive a nice car now, but, for a long time, I didn't drive the nice car, and I didn't, because I could have, but
Yeah,
it's just it's silly. It's bad debt. Like rich dad, poor dad. There's good debt, bad debt. That's bad debt. Going out and buying a big boat and a nice car, and because you can, is not necessarily smart.
Right.
Right.
That's very wise, because I think that's a lot of times that's what happens is people live outside their means and they don't realize, they kind of, money doesn't always equal, hey, let's just throw it around.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, what else did you want to layer on this?
You know what? I'd like to look up maybe a depreciation calculator. This says appreciation and depreciation, so I wonder how we would switch this over. Because depreciation is an IRS thing, so you're able to depreciate this asset over so many years.
So let's see. Maybe just probably put a negative symbol in front of the 4%.
Oh, maybe I could just go.
Hey, there we go.
So what would it be? You're able to write off your asset over 27 and a half years. So I don't know how would I do that. That would be about 3% a year. 3%, about 3%. Okay, so let's try that. So 3%. Now remember, when you depreciate something, a property, the IRS has certain guidelines, so you have to extract the land value, because land value doesn't depreciate. Okay. The improvement, which is the house, depreciates. Roof gets old, foundations crack, plumbing goes. You're allowed to depreciate that over 27 and a half years. The land, you can't. So let's say we take away $30,000 of that, and the government allows us to depreciate $90,000. So I'm going to put $90,000 in this, and you guys listening can just go online and just look up appreciation and depreciation calculator and plug this stuff in. It's the first time I've ever done it.
It's a fantastic tool. This is really, really
so over
really
20 appreciation rate. I don't know if I'm doing this right, but we're going to 27 and a half years.
No, you're doing it right.
Final value 38,000. Now that can't be right because it has to be zero. So 20. So we just have to put in a number here.
What about your desired final value? Do you have to change that? Where the 5,000 is?
Ooh. Okay, let's put in 0 and see how that works. Oh, NA. The near should be NA. Okay. NA. Oh, it doesn't want me to do that. Let's put 1 in there. 33%. Oh, goodness. Should have thought this through before we started talking about it.
Is the beauty of doing a live show.
Appreciation or depreciation rates. Huh. Oh, that's as far as you can go. Oh, no, there it is. 14, 15.
Now, just so everyone knows at home, the reason why there's a little dead air here is we're clicking, we're increasing the percentage of depreciation to get it down to a final value of 0. So we're just going through one by one. We're actually up to 28% right now, and that took us down to a final value of 1074. But that was over 27 and a half years.
I told you I wasn't that smart. Didn't we start this off at that was
we did, yeah.
Okay, just wanted to get that out in front of everybody first of all.
And then here I am, as always, Mr. God. Open Mouth, insert foot. I'm like, no, I'll debate you all day.
Yeah,
you're great and intelligent.
We can do this. All right. I don't know. Anyway, the depreciation. I'm going to use simple math. $90,000 is what we're able to depreciate over 27 and a half years. So I'm going to round up. That's about $3,000 a year. Okay. So what that means is if you make $100,000 a year, the government is going to allow you to reduce your taxable income by $3,000. Okay. So that means you're going to pay federal income tax not on $100,000. You're going to pay federal income tax on $97,000. So what does that save you? If you're in a 30% income tax bracket and you pay tax on $3,000, it will save you about $1,000. So that's what we're not factoring in when we talk about this also is the depreciation. If you have 5, 10, 15 properties, now that depreciation starts to become significant, you know? Because say you have that taxable income of $100,000,
right?
But you have all this depreciation because you have all these properties. Now the IRS is only taxing you on maybe $60,000.
Okay.
So now that $40,000 is tax free for as far as the IRS is concerned, and that can be huge because $40,000 times 30% is $12,000. That's $1,000 a month in income that you wouldn't have if you didn't have real estate.
Wow. Yeah, good point. Great way to frame that. Nice.
Yeah,
well done, sir.
I'm sure that this works on this calculator. I just can't figure that one out. It blows my mind.
See, and that's why I said that you are more intelligent than the computer. Man always beats machine, ladies and gentlemen.
Stupid computer. So that's good. I hope that opened up everyone's eyes about the beauty and magic of appreciation and compound interest. And look at that balance sheet every year. It usually gets better. That's your wealth is growing every year, and it's a beautiful thing. If the wife says or the husband says, "When am I getting my new car?" Just tell him or her to sit tight.
Yep, 5 years. Say, don't worry. Patience, butterfly. No, and listen, guys, make sure it's just Google appreciation and depreciation calculator, and that could be Google, Bing, whatever search engine you use. I know everyone has a different thing, but we did the plugs at the beginning of this episode. I am not going to put you guys through that again. For Alex, for everyone here at Deacon Hoover Real Estate, my name is Adam. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. We hope you had as much fun as we did today, and we'll see you next time.